for the playing of our national anthem and the invocation by Chaplain Smith.
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to pray with me. Lord, today is a good day. Gathered here with family and friends as we take time to honor the service of these soldiers, I'm mindful of your goodness and your faithfulness to both the service member and the family. Together, we thank you for your faithfulness throughout their years of service, for strength during separations, for wisdom in daily decisions, for grace in shortcomings, and for your presence during even the darkest of times. We celebrate with them as they finish strong their commitment to our nation, and we rejoice with them as they look forward to the next great thing you have in store. As they reflect on the years past, fill their hearts with satisfaction and lead them in the days ahead. All this I pray in your matchless name. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please join me in a round of applause for the team of soldiers who assisted in setting up today's ceremony. Special thanks to the 282nd Army Band from Fort Jackson for providing the music for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Lieutenant General Michael X. Garrett, the Commanding General of the United States Army Central, thank you for attending today's Celebration of Service ceremony. Our hosts for today's Celebration of Service ceremony are the United States Army Central G3 Operations Director, Brigadier General Jeffrey P. Vann, and the G36 Protection Director, Sergeant Major Kimberly McGaney Reed. A special welcome to our distinguished guests, U.S. Army Central Deputy Commanding General, Major General David C. Hill, and his wife, Mrs. Chris Hill. USARCENT, U.S. Army Central G8 Director, Major General Bradley Dreyer, and his wife, Mrs. Kelly Dreyer. U.S. Army Central Chief of Staff, Brigadier General James Raymer. U.S. Army Central Sustainment Director, Brigadier General Jonathan McCollum, U.S. Army Central Command Sergeant Major Kurt Cornelison, Directors and staff of the United States Army Central, family members, friends and colleagues of our retirees being honored during today's ceremony. Each month, a celebration of service ceremony is held to honor our soldiers and Department of the Army civilians who have served their country with distinction. Today, we honor 4 retirees: Colonel Philip R. Good, Major Jeffrey Philippi, Chief Warrant Officer 4, Genario Nazario, and Sergeant First Class Kevin L. Williams. These soldiers' combined years of service totals more than 106 years. An official biography for each of our retirees is located in your program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the presiding officer for today's celebration of service. Please give a warm welcome to our United States Army Central G3 Operations Director, Brigadier General Jeffrey E. Payne.
Thank you. Thanks, Chaplain, for that kind word. And I'd like to do a big shout out to the 282nd Band from the 82nd Airborne Division from Fort Bragg for another great presentation and great support for USARCENT. And a round of applause for the band. And can I get a little horn toot from the back there? Unlike some of the other ceremonies, we're going to do something a little bit different. So I don't want to be Mr. Sad and doom and gloom up here for these four great, outstanding soldiers which we had today. So there's going to be a lot of families standing up, almost like you're in church, and then some clapping. So depending on what church you go to. So in the meantime, band, when we do that, I need you to give me a little toot. So I've got to get you on command. What that means, the command. Yep. All right, awesome. Distinguished guests, families, soldiers, Major General Hill, Chris, Major General Dreyer, Kelly, Major General Raymer. You didn't bring your spouse with you. So Sergeant Major Corneliuson and fellow GOs, I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's USARCENT celebration of service. I realize the hectic schedules which all of y'all keep, and I greatly appreciate your attendance for today's celebration and the identification of these great soldiers who are sitting here before us today. Today will be a big day of thanks and celebration for their service, and these great soldiers have given over 20 plus years each, and a huge thanks to them and then to their families also for the time and experiences and the sacrifice which they have given in defense of this great nation. Right up front, so there's a big bear in the room. I think I may have two big bears. So Sergeant Williams, you can't show up to the party early. There's always, you guys show up a little bit late to make your entrance. So I was counting like, you said 20 this morning. I thought you had like 30 people. So would everybody from the Williams family please stand up? All right. Thank you. That's great support there. But then Colonel Good snuck in a bunch of people too. So Colonel Good's family and support team, would y'all all stand up and see how big y'all's family package is? All right. Oh, look at all those. Oh. So I didn't rehearse the band toot. So when y'all stand up, you can't see me band toot. That was good. All right, so there we go. That was for you, Colonel Good, right there. You snuck that one in under all these people here. That's not what you told me in the rehearsal. Today we will celebrate four soldiers' service and sacrifices of their families. As a testament to the true faith and support of these service members, we have families from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Puerto Rico, North Carolina, New York. I think we had Maryland come in. There was Alabama. Again, Colonel Good, you were sneaking different states in before my speech was written. As shown through the many events and travels over the years in serving the Army, it is these family villages which bring together, which provide the support chain behind each of our soldiers, allowing us to deploy, travel, and operate daily in defense of this nation. In countless ways, of which many of you are here today, every one of you are an integral part of these retirees' success. It is very fitting that you are here today. Let me get a warm round of applause, not just for the two families which we had today, but for all the families who are here. Please stand up, and then another round of applause. All right. It's an absolute honor for me and Sergeant McGaney Reed to conduct this ceremony on behalf of our commanding general, Lieutenant General Michael Garrett, and our Command Sergeant Major Corneliuson. We are humbled to have been given the opportunity to be a part of this event today. Today we will focus on the impact of our retiring soldiers who have the combined 106 years of service. In addition to their service, we will honor the retiring support by their families and the sacrifices made throughout all the years. We will give each retiree a brief introduction and then allow them to celebrate their service in their own way with this individual speech. Then we will do an awards, which after the awards, we will end up having each one of the family soldiers or the families of the soldiers come forward and then take photos. So get your cameras ready. Before I get started, I have to level with you. These 4 soldiers who were sitting down here are much more prepared to give a speech than what I am. Personally, family events, seeing children at Army events and discussing the sacrifices which we make up on a daily basis and which you make up on a daily basis just makes me sad. I know the devotion you have for your family and the sacrifices you make so that we can deploy, close with the enemy, and achieve our overall given mission. I like to personally project the Army warrior face and that persona of being a hard infantry person. But deep down, family service makes me sad. Heck, I never even, for my family being in any attendance, they were never in attendance for any of my promotions until I became a 1-star just because I thought I would cry during the ceremonies. So today is going to be a celebration of happiness, clapping, as we've already displayed, smiles, band tooting, and a new projection of these service members on the wall. So I brought props in this thing. This ceremony is a big deal. To most of our soldiers, these ceremonies rub them uncomfortably against their convictions that duty is our own reward, and that those called to serve should not seek additional recognition for doing their duty. If they had it their way, they would walk quietly away even after retirement. There would be no quiet exits today. We will recognize them and their families. Now, I got to level with you again. There's a little competition in this headquarters on the celebration of service events. So I heard today that 2-stars can't do celebration of service events. So the 1-stars who are in the headquarters sponsor these. And everybody comes to the ceremony in front of it so they can see how to execute this. So there's a little competition into what you say, and people have been coming by my office all day making fun of me and putting the heat on me about making this presentation. There were 2 generals in front of me, being General Hubbard and General McCullum. And those 2 jokers, one of them sitting right over there, please raise your hand. So General Hubbard was from South Carolina. And the predominance of all of the retirees were going to retire in South Carolina or were from South Carolina. So when he was up here, he was from the high school. He was yelling about zip codes and area codes and yelling about high school, and people would clap for him in that. So that's pretty stiff competition. Then you have General McCullum. So a little known fact about General McCullum is, please raise your hand so everybody sees you down front. General McCullum is a preacher. So right off bat, General McCullum had God upon his side. And evidently, whenever you go to the theology seminary to be a preacher, they teach you all types of scripture and quotes and how to do presentations. So anytime he would mess up a family name or he would mess up part of the speech, he would throw in some scripture or he would throw in some dead man quote. He'd throw in, and he even got like out here, right? He didn't stay just directly behind the podium. So he's very well versed, and he was covering his tracks in that thing. So, and all the dead man quotes which he had that so eloquently rolled off the tip of his tongue. So when you got a religious kit bag of treats there, you can never go wrong. So I have today a toot and then a prop in order to present this. So today you will end up getting a quick speech with props, the band, and a message of true dedication to these soldiers and their families. Today is a day to identify 4 great individuals who have served their country honorably and who have dedicated years of time and effort to carry this country which they love and to carry the profession of military service to their next career. So I know you got to throw a couple dead man quotes to have an official military ceremony. So Confucius said, "Choose a work that you love and you won't have to work another day." As a testament to their love for the military service, most of these soldiers will not even miss the military. as they are just changing uniforms and continue to serve. Most of our soldiers sitting here today in front of you who are retiring are attempting to secure or even have already secured contracting jobs at USARCENT. So in my counseling with each one of these soldiers, I expected to hear war stories about bad experiences in the military. I expected to hear about all the bad things that 20 years of service got you. Surprisingly, instead, I was surprised to hear professional, upbeat service members who thanked the U.S. Army for their experiences and what they got out of their celebration with their experiences, not only for them, but for their families also. This communication within itself is a testament that these soldiers stand for the U.S. Army and what the U.S. brings to bear. It also states that what the U.S. Army stands for and the professional, dedicated force which we all serve today. It was truly heartwarming to hear their stories, share their experiences, and understand their transition from a full-time service member to an employee with top priorities of being their family first. Now, I painted all the rosy side. I know that this is not going to be a rosy road to retirement. I know the ups and downs to a service member's life and what you're putting, the stability which you were putting behind you. I fully understand and share all the bad experiences which we all share as service members, whether they're deployments, late night phone calls, the misunderstanding of your wife when the commander's calling you, PT test, height, weight, miss birthdays, miss ball games, miss birthdays, wake ups, countless times that you're not there for your family and your family events. Some would even say that our marriages throughout the military are better because we stay apart so much. Here's the rub. So your spouse will now prioritize your efforts through your honeydews at the top of your list versus early wake-ups and late-night phone calls with the commander. This could be the point of conflict. So Chichi Rodriguez said, when a man retires, his wife gets twice the husband, but only half the income. Now I know who runs my house, but this could be a contested battle space when you return to the house. With the constant father presence at the house, who would be the boss? I think I know because I met all y'all before. So gentlemen, take it from me. Just let it go. Let the family set the priorities. Let your wife write the op order. Let her do the PCCs and the PCIs. Set the battle rhythm. Give the command guidance. And do the overall risk assessment upon the honey-do list. But with more time at the house, you're going to have more accountability and more oversight over that honey-do list, which you haven't had up in the past. I'm very excited about all of y'all's futures. I was excited about it through y'all's individual counseling. I'm excited about y'all's next chapter in each one of your lives. Although some of them are going to be closer because people like Jeff may end up working for me again. So the future are full of possibilities with the rear view window of service, memories, and dedication and accomplishment of many years of service. Your next job will be one where civilians have the right priority of faith, family, work, and play. You will rest on your years of service and profession and carry forth the knowledge of military organization and planning as you transition into your military careers. You even get to choose what outfit you want to wear versus looking at the uniform of the day from a training calendar. It's going to be great. I'm excited for you and your family. Can't wait to hear the successful stories of you and your family upon your next adventure. I'm going to end my quick speech with a couple quotes which I think are applicable. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, "Men do not quit playing because they grow old. They grow old because they quit playing." Abe Lemon said, "The trouble with retirement is that you never get a day off." Jim Bishop said, "Golf is played by 20 million mature Americans whose wives think they're out having fun." And last but not least, Jonathan Clement said, "Retirement is like a long vacation in Las Vegas. The goal is to enjoy it to the fullest, but not fully that you run out of money." That being said, let's announce our first retiree. So Colonel Good, will you please come down and stand in front? Colonel Good is from Wadsworth, Ohio. He joined the military in 1987 as a second lieutenant as a dietetic intern with duty at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, Washington, D.C. His service includes duty at Moncrief Army Community Hospital, Fort Jackson. Thomas is leaving right now. We had an hour on that nap which he was giving. Kimbrough Army Community Hospital, Fort George Meade, Maryland. The 88th Regional Support Command, Brooklyn, Ohio. 3rd Medical Command, Forest Park, Georgia, with deployments to Kuwait in support of OIR. The 67th Medical Brigade, Fort Lewis, Washington, and commanded in the 256th Command Support Hospital and the 2290th United States Army Hospital, with follow-on assignment to Twinsburg, Ohio, Alexandria, Virginia, and Forest Park, Georgia. Colonel Good's awards include, but not limited to, Bronze Star with 2 oak leaf clusters, Meritorious Service with 2 oak leaf clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Armed Forces Reserve Medal. He plans on residing in the Sumter area and will retire from the Army Reserves and continue to work in the USARCENT Headquarters Surgeon Office as a strategic planning specialist. Today, his mother and dad, brother-in-law, are all here, so would you please stand up? And a round of applause for Sister T. A little known fact about Philip is that he's an avid wrestling fan and past Ohio State Buckeye wrestler who wrestled in the 126-pound class. He's since hung up his tights. I think you hung them up, right? But still follows the sport. He had a nickname, Feel Good, in high school, which evidently followed him into his medical schooling and followed on through his profession. I was a little slow. I have a public education, so I did not realize that his first name was Phil, last name Good, as he had the nickname Feel Good. While at Ohio State, he wrestled against Jim Jordan and Barry Davis, who were both Olympians and All-American wrestlers. Phil, your podium.
General Van, thank you, sir. Sergeant Major McGaffney Reed, thank you. Major General Hill, Mrs. Hill, thank you for coming. Command Sergeant Major, thank you for coming. Major General Dwyer and Mrs. Dwyer, thank you for coming. General Reimer, General McCullum, Mr. Anthony, distinguished guests, visitors, all thank you for coming. So now everybody's been asking me for probably, I don't know how long, do I have my speech ready? You know, so the office doesn't know, they just see Mr. Good. They don't really see Colonel Good all the time, but it kind of comes out sometimes. So if they would have known me, they would have known that the speech gets made when the speech is getting made. So if you ask what I say after the speech is over, I hope you have it video recorded or taped, because I won't be able to tell you what I said. So I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank Father in Heaven for giving me this past 30 years, which has just been an incredible journey. So all the blessings and glory and accomplishments all go to the Father in Heaven. And then the next person you need to thank is Yeshua, you know, his son, Jesus Christ. And Yeshua is Aramaic. And I learned that from a good friend from the Air Force office, Surgeon's office that's here today. And so I want to thank you for those. Then I want to thank my parents and my sister and brother-in-law, because they have truly been the nucleus and the support of my military career for these last 30 years. And then I have the extended family, all the family that are here, the Air Force surgeons family that are here, the ARCENT surgeons family that are here, First Sergeant retired Simons and his wife Eileen, Sergeant Major Montgomery and your friend Daphne, my neighbors, the Daniels, their son was an Air Force Air Force E9, so I'm sorry for not knowing my Air Force. My other neighbors, Bill and Debbie Ketterer, for coming. David, he's a 1982 Big Ten Wrestling Championship. He's here. His son is at Fort Bragg in the Special Forces, went to Fort Bragg, so there's a little military tradition. And Keith and Joanna Reagan, running mates in the dietetic world. commanders, and her husband Keith, and my good friend Pat Rowe. And hopefully I didn't forget anybody. If I did, my apologies. 30 years. Just seemed like yesterday. I was 18, going down I-71 to the Ohio State University to start college. For those that know, I walked on to the wrestling team at Ohio State. And if it wasn't for David Ruckman, when Chris Ford said, "This meeting is for invitees only," and I was like starting to panic because I wasn't invited. And David said, "Just stay." And I stayed. And so we were teammates for a number of years. He was my coach. So if you want the Barry Davis story and the Rudy moment, just see David and he can fill you in on all the details on that. So going to the Army, 30 years later, command. I did command of the 256 for 3 years, followed by command of the 2290th. Command is such a rewarding experience. And any officer in this room, if you've not had any form of command yet, and should I do it? Should I not? I've just always been in staff positions. Do it. Just do it, as the saying says. And it's the best, most rewarding experience you can have. And along the way, you will pick up friends that will become lifelong friends. And you'll do things together. You'll travel together. Even when you hang up the uniform, you'll travel the world together with your group of friends. So I want to thank everyone for coming, but I want to close on a little quote. And hopefully on this little quote, I've planted some of these seeds along the way. Allegedly, this is anonymous. It's supposed to be from a Chinese poet, roughly 420 BC. I didn't check it. I just assumed it was right. So here we go. If you give a man a fish, he will have a meal. If you teach a man to fish, he will have a living. If you think a year ahead, sow seeds. If you are thinking 10 years ahead, plant a tree. If you're thinking 100 years ahead, educate the people. By sowing seed once, you'll harvest once. By planting a tree, you'll harvest tenfold. By educating the people, you will harvest 100-fold. And hopefully over these past 30 years, I planted some seeds, I planted some trees, and I've educated some people. Thank you.
That was good. You did good. All right. Major Philippi. Jeff is from Mayorstown, Pennsylvania. He joined the military in 1993 as a military police officer. His service includes assignment and duty in the 703rd Brigade Support Battalion at Fort Stewart. He also served at Fort Carson, Korea, Iraq, Egypt, Sinai, and now USARCENT here at Shaw Air Force Base. His education includes Basic Ordnance School and Command General Staff College. Jeff's awards include, but not limited to, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, and Army Achievement Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters. Jeff's family includes wife, Amy, and then children, Sophia and Jackson. So would y'all please stand up? And a round of applause for them. Sophia is in the martial arts and baseball and often likes to floss. She showed me that today. And then Jackson is into Kung Fu, Pokemon, and then watching dancing on YouTube, right? And dressing up. He has new shoes today. Jeff enjoys hunting and fishing with his family and plans on staying in Elgin, South Carolina area, and hopes to be a contractor here at USARCENT in the G3 shop. He has the lofty goals of dreaming to be a stay-at-home dad one day. And I hear you, brother, about that right there. So Jeff's granddad, Rufus, served in the Army at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. And Jeff, I'll give you the podium.
General Van, thank you for the kind words. Distinguished guests, thank you for attending this great event. I'm proud of my years of service. I was privileged to serve. I'd like to stand up here and talk about all the cool guy stuff I did over my 20 years, but that's not why I'm here. I'd be happy just doing this speech in the shower and getting on with my day, but I'm here for my family, and want to thank them for standing by me. Almost changed my speech because I was tearing up a little bit writing it, but I'll try and power through. So, Sophia, you've truly lived the Army experience. You've been to 5 duty stations through your 8 years. You're still half Korean since you were born there. Let's see. Anytime we mention the movers, you get angry because I know you're still mad because they break all your stuff. And then you're a strong, smart, resilient girl on your way to becoming a great woman. Jackson, you don't know the struggles that your sister had to endure. But you're happy to have Daddy home full time for a while. And one of the hardest things I ever had to do was leave you when you were 4 months old for a year. Amy, you're my soulmate. I'm happy to have found you. Here I go, breaking up. We met on the internet while it was still the Wild Wild West, like way before Match.com. Your love and support got me through the hardest times and trying endeavors. If I was a kite, you'd be the string that keeps me from flying out of control. We'll build on the success we've had over the past 10 years and continue to build our life together. Since our anniversary is next week, I'll take this public moment to say thank you for the past decade of love. And I'm looking forward to like a half century or so to go. So thank you, everybody.
See, you were teetering on that sad thing right at there, so let's not go there. All right, so Chief Nazario. Chief Nazario is from San German, Puerto Rico. He enlisted in 1991 and then was appointed a Human Resources Warrant Officer in 2004. He's already making hand and arm signals. So Chief served in Personal Service Unit as an enlisted soldier in multiple places to include Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Sinai, Egypt, Fort Knox, Kentucky, and as a Chief Warrant Officer at Fort Bragg in Iraq also, and he went back and forth from Fort Bragg to Iraq on multiple tours. He has served at Fort McPherson at 18th Airborne Corps in Strength Management, and then on to ARCENT with following assignments to SOC South and SOCOM. Chief was the Senior USARCENT Human Resources Technician. His awards include, but not limited to, the Bronze Star with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 3 Oak Leaf Clusters, and Army Achievement Medal. Chief is married to Carmen, and they have 3 daughters, a special family with high educations, the twins, Mary Terry and Ann. Mary Terry is engaged and going to be a doctor in Charleston as she's now doing her residency. Ann is a speech pathologist who's now married with 1 child. Christina is a human resources specialist in Columbia. Carmen was a school teacher, so you can tell that they all got great attention in securing their educations. This is a volleyball family, though. So as Carmen played in college and was also on the Puerto Rico national team, and all 3 girls played up in high school, and then 1 was in college and played volleyball also, which was Christina. Chief's dad was also in service as an infantryman who served at Fort Gordon and Fort Polk. So if the family would please stand up to include father-in-law. Chief Nazario is very thankful for his time in service and greatly enjoyed his time in the Army and the career which he got to serve for over 27 years of service. He's liked it so much that he's applying to stay here at ARCENT as a contractor. So Chief, your podium.
Wow, 2 speeches already, so it's hard to follow. So. Thank you, General Van, for your kind words and bringing me the opportunity this afternoon to say farewell to the Army and my life in uniform. I want to thank, too, the leadership from the USARCENT for allowing me to do this. My G1, Colonel Sander, the Sergeant Major Rendon, and all my family in the G1. The G1, my sincerest appreciation from my family and myself to make it very fun to come to work every day. Even sometimes don't look like that, but actually it is. Well, time has come to retire from my military life, 26 plus years, and what I wrote here, wow, where did time go? It really doesn't seem that long ago that I was getting off the plane in the blistering winter of Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Of course, now looking back, it wasn't that cold. It just seemed blistering cold for me, coming from Puerto Rico. No kidding, it felt like the North Pole. So, no clothes, just get off the plane, go to Fort Jackson. Most importantly, I want to thank my family, Carmen, my daughters, Mary Terry, Anna Karen, Christina, and for the endless support for my enduring deployments to countries in 2 different continents. I am leaving the Army, but the Army isn't leaving me, so you still have that in the Army. After an exciting career in service to our great nation, there are too many people to thank, and especially the men and women that have given me their friendships and trusted themselves to my care and leadership and my friendship. Especially thanks to those senior leaders that gave me the opportunity to do just that. Those leaders in the 18th Airborne Corps, the 4th Com G1, the TSOC down in Homestead, that was a great place to be. Here in the ARCENT G1, that gave me the opportunity to serve under them and provided me the leadership, mentorship, and trust, and made me the warrant officer I am today. As a warrant officer who is an advisor and sounding board in my craft, I can only say that the road that took me here was a fun one, and I am a very lucky American soldier. As I have met the most interesting and smart people that today are our senior leaders, our peers, and our friends and retirees. Those people were my bosses and friends, and I worked for them, serve along them, or just had the opportunity to sit during a meal or a cold one, and I said a cold one because it's a beer, I like beer, in far and near places, and in the process, learn from them how to succeed as a soldier, as an American. And I can see their faces right now laughing at me. I said, I told you so, you will make it. And I will keep those memories close to me in my career and close to my heart. In retrospect, I have spent the last 26 years surrounded by some of the greatest America and the greatest America has to offer, protecting her and her people in every turn without hesitation. I went to work every day with people smarter than me, better than me what they do, and I did PTs almost every day, and work out with those people that were stronger and faster than me. I spent my time with friends and family whose values and quality of character I aspire to reflect. For all those reasons, I got a little better every day. I'm honored to have served and led and served with those great men and women who were the black beret, the red beret, or maroon beret, and no beret at all, and it has been my greatest privilege. Finally, I want to say a word from the Bible and the good Lord who has guided me and allowed me to be here today. Bless the Lord, my rock, who trains my arms for battle, prepares my hands for war. He is my love, my fortress. He is my stronghold, my Savior, my shield, and my place of refuge. Thank you for being here this afternoon.
All right, Sergeant First Class Kevin Williams, if you come down and stand down front, please. I knew they were going to be a rowdy group, Sergeant Williams. Last but not least, Sergeant First Class Kevin Williams and all of his attendees. Sergeant Williams is from Rochester, New York. He entered into the Army as an armor crewman in 1995 from Fort Knox, Kentucky. For everybody out there, this man is trained as a tank gunner. He can kill people from over 2 miles out with a bullet that travels over a mile a second. So all the New York family, look out. He has served in multiple armor organizations in Baumholder, Germany, Fort Stewart, Iraq, Fort Bliss, JMRC, Hohenfels, Germany, and then assigned to Shaw Air Force Base. Sergeant First Class Williams has deployed to Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and Kuwait. His awards include, but not limited to, the Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 4 oak leaf clusters, Army Achievement Medal with 5 oak leaf clusters, Presidential Citation Award, National Defense Service Award, Armed Forces Expeditionary Service Medal, Armed Forces Service Medal, Kosovo Campaign Medal, Gulf War of Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Gulf War on Terrorism Service Medal, the NATO Medal, and Armed Forces Service Medal. Big Will, as they call him in basic training, is married to Miss Caltoon Williams with 4 children. He has a huge family in attendance today from North Carolina, Kentucky, New York, and South Carolina. His mother, grandmother, brother, sister, sister-in-law, brother-in-laws, and a whole bunch of nieces and nephews are all here. So we were trying to count during the rehearsal. So I think I have 1 grandmother, one mother. Yeah, you're the mother, and then we got the grandmother, and then 1 brother, 3 sisters. There we are in the back. 2 brother-in-law, sister-in-laws. Yep, that's 1. We got 2. All right. 13 nieces and 5 nephews. What a great family. Big Will's children include Chantel, Kevin, and Elijah. If you would, for the immediate family and the kids, if y'all would please stand up. So our First Class Williams has set a good example to his kids by doing night school over the years while he has served. He has already achieved his bachelor's, and he just secured his master's degree in human resource management. His wife is currently also in school. There you go, Mom. Is also in school, as they both lead by example and are great role models for their family. Sergeant Williams, it's going to be your podium.
General Fan, I want to thank you for that kind introduction. First, I want to give thanks to God, because without him, none of this is possible. Amen. So, and honestly, I could say that in the military, the 23 years that I served, I enjoyed every minute of it. There were ups, there were downs, but in the end, it was meant for me to be here. I came in the Army as a boy, and now I'm leaving the Army as a grown man. All right, now. I had, I have had many adventures in the Army and have learned a lot that I will be able to carry with me to the next chapter of my life. I must give a special thanks to my mother. Mom, I love you, and thank you for everything you have done for me. Yes, my baby. All my life, I wanted to make you proud of me, because I wanted to show you that I paid attention to what you taught me. I love you, and thank you for making me go to the Army, because that was the best decision I ever made. To my wife, you are the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. I love you with all my heart, and thank you for being there for me. We had some rough times in our life, and in our marriage, we lost 2 of our children. We have weathered the storm many times, and have always made it out the storm together. Through God's words, we learn how to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I will always love you and have the greatest respect for the things you did, whether I was home or deployed. You are the backbone of our family, and I could not have done any of this without you. I love you always and forever. And I need more than 30 days to find a job. To Chantel, Juju, and Eli. Y'all are the greatest accomplishments in my life. I love you with all my heart. Raising you was the greatest and sometimes challenging moments in my life. We have moved many a times. You had to leave friends behind. You had to switch schools and start over on many occasions. You never complained and understood what had to be done. I respect you for that, and thank you for your patience with me through all the stuff you had to endure. To my son, Michael, whom we lost last year, I love you, always and forever, and I wish you were in the audience. But I know that you're watching me from above. I love you, and I know you're not here to see it, but I will tell you that I made it, like we talked about all the time. I miss you so much. And God, please continue to take care of my child. To my family, I love you, and I'm glad that we can share this moment together. Thank you for being there for me. It means so much to me. I will never forget this moment. To my friends, thank you for being here and supporting me. It means a lot to me to know that I have friends that care and love me as well. Thank you, everyone, and God bless.
I'm glad that y'all were doing all that clapping after the end, because I knew Sergeant Williams was going to take me to that sad point. That's always in all of these meetings. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you all know all of our retiring soldiers and their families, so now we're going to begin the awards portion of the ceremony. Sorry.
Sergeant Major McGinney Reed is joining General Van in hosting today's celebration of service ceremony. Our first retiree being honored today is Colonel Philip R. Good. He's joined by his parents, Mr. Dale and Mrs. Janice Good. The Legion of Merit is presented to Colonel Good for exceptionally meritorious service to the nation for over 30 years, culminating as the current Strategic Planning Specialist, Surgeon Director. Colonel Good's selfless sacrifice, expertise, dedication, and professionalism are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the Surgeon Directorate, the Department of the Army, and the United States of America. General Van will now present Colonel Good a certificate of appreciation from the Army Medical Specialist Corps Chief, Colonel John E. Bowser. The retirement certificate signifies that Colonel Good has fulfilled his military obligation to our Army and nation. He has served faithfully and honorably for over 30 years and is officially placed on the retired rolls. General Van is now pinning Colonel Good's retirement pin on his lapel. General Van will now present Colonel Good his retirement flag. Sergeant Major McGinney Reed is now presenting Colonel Good the Command Group Coin of Excellence. Mr. Dale and Mrs. Janice Good are receiving the Commanding General's letter of appreciation on the occasion of the retirement of their son from active duty with the United States Army. Their unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible their son's lasting contribution to the nation. Colonel Good is now presenting his mother, Janice, and sister Sarah with a bouquet of flowers for their continued love and support.
So can we get the rest of their family up here? Everybody? Wrestlers, Pennsylvania. Anybody wants to come in the photo, come on down. Yes, ma'am. Y'all had like 20 before. We're on our way. Look, oh yeah. All right, so Kevin, you see your family. Yep. Can you get far enough back? All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Colonel Philip R. Good, United States Army, retired. Our second retiree being honored today is Major Jeffrey A. Philippi. He is joined by his wife, Mrs. Amy Philippi. The Meritorious Service Medal is presented to Major Philippi for exceptionally meritorious service to the nation for over 20 years, culminating as the current Operation Integration System Watch Officer, G33 Director. Major Philippi's selfless sacrifice, expertise, dedication, and professionalism are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the G33 Directorate, the Department of the Army, and the United States of America. The retirement certificate signifies that Major Philippi has fulfilled his military obligation to our Army and nation. He has served faithfully and honorably for over 20 years and is officially placed on the retired rolls. General Van is now pinning Major Philippi's retirement pin on his lapel. General Van will now present Major Philippi his retirement flag. Sergeant Major McGaney Reed is now presenting Major Philippi the Command Group Coin of Excellence. Mrs. Philippi is receiving the Commanding General's letter of appreciation on the occasion of the retirement of her husband from active duty with the United States Army. Her unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible her husband's lasting contribution to the nation. Major Philippi is now presenting his wife with a bouquet of flowers for her continued love and support. Major Philippi is also presenting his children, Sophia and Jackson, with Pokemon cards. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Major Jeffrey A. Philippi. United States Army. Our third retiree being honored today is Chief Warrant Officer 4, Genario Nazario. He is joined by his wife, Mrs. Carmen Nazario. The Legion of Merit is presented to Chief Nazario for exceptionally meritorious service to the nation for over 26 years, culminating as the Senior Human Resource Technician, G1 Director. Chief Nazario's selfless sacrifice, expertise, dedication, and professionalism are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the G1 Directorate, the Department of the Army, and the United States of America. The retirement certificate signifies that Chief Nazario has fulfilled his military obligation to our Army and nation. He has served faithfully and honorably for over 26 years and is officially placed on the retired rolls. General Van is now pinning Chief Nazario's retirement pin on his lapel. General Van will now present Chief Nazario his retirement flag. Sergeant Major McGaney Reed is now presenting Chief Nazario the Command Group Coin of Excellence. Mrs. Carmen Nazario is receiving the Commanding General's Letter of Appreciation on the occasion of the retirement of her husband from active duty with the United States Army. Her unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible her husband's lasting contribution to the nation.
So the daughters, if they would come up. Thomas.
At this time, the U.S. Army Central G1 Director, Colonel Sander, and the U.S. Army Central G1 Directorate Sergeant Major Rendon, will make a special presentation to Chief Nazario. Chief Nazario had no idea this was coming. All right, the presentation is for this, and it is for an award for an achievement medal, which reads as follows. The Executive Council of the Adjutant General's Corps Regimental Association awards the Colonel Robert L. Manning Achievement Medal to Chief Warrant Officer 4, Gennaro Nazario, signed by Robert Lee Manning. Okay, and now Chief Nazario is presenting his wife, Mrs. Carmen Nazario, with a bouquet of flowers in loving appreciation for her support and resiliency during his Army career. Chief Nazario is also presenting his daughters, Mary Terry, Anna Karen, and Christina with a bouquet of flowers for their continued love and support.
And then father-in-law? Yes. That's no flowers. That's right. Want to do one quick photo? Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Chief Warrant Officer 4, Gennaro Nazario, United States Army, Mike. Our fourth retiree being honored today is Sergeant First Class Kevin Williams. The Meritorious Service Medal is presented to Sergeant Williams for exceptionally meritorious service to the nation for over 23 years, culminating as the Future Operations Non-Commissioned Officer in Charge, G35 Directorate, United States Army Central. Sergeant Williams' exemplary leadership and commitment to soldiers is in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, United States Army Central, the Department of the Army, and the United States of America. The retirement certificate signifies that Sergeant Williams has fulfilled his military obligation to our Army and nation. He has served faithfully and honorably for over 23 years and is officially placed on the retired rolls. General Van is now pinning Sergeant Williams' retirement pin on his lapel. General Van will now present Sergeant Williams' retirement flag. Sergeant Major McGaney Reed is now presenting Sergeant Williams the Command Group Point of Excellence. Mrs. Williams is receiving the Commanding General's Letter of Appreciation on the occasion of the retirement of her husband from active duty with the United States Army. Her unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible her husband's lasting contribution to the nation.
So will the children come up with the Williams family? Mom? You good?
Sergeant Williams is now presenting his wife, Mrs. Williams, with a bouquet of flowers in loving appreciation for her support and resiliency during his Army career. Sergeant First Class Williams is now presenting his grandmother, Mrs. Maud Davis, mother, Mrs. Melinda James, and daughter, Miss Chantel Williams, with bouquets of flowers for their continued love and support. Sergeant Williams is now presenting his oldest son, Kevin, with a watch. And his youngest son, Elijah, with a video game.
I got two more, sorry, it wasn't on the list, I got this one, sir. Terry, Shonda, please come forward. Come forward as well. I got your flower, but I ain't gonna say who left it, you already know who did it.
We don't have to fit all y'all in here. So we'll do one photo with the immediate family and then everybody else that's in his group. All the nieces and nephews, everybody else. So when you get this one, let us know. Everybody else prepare to move. All right, let's move. Everybody. You even got all right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Sergeant First Class Kevin L. Williams, United States Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for all of our retirees and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, General Van.
I guess I didn't rehearse that one very well. So I do have a closing statement here. So I would like to thank everybody for coming again to today. A big shout out again to the band. All right. As one of the recurring themes up in my speech was the families and the importance of the families. We cannot thank you enough for all of your support and for the support that you've given us throughout the years and to these soldiers so that we can serve this great country. I wish all of y'all the best. From here, we will play a quick medley for the retirees, and then we will do the Army song, and then all of the retirees will end up picking up, and then going down to the Hall of Flags for each individual to end up shaking their hands. So thank you very much.
Ladies, Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing and singing of the Army song. The words are located on the back of the program. and gentlemen, please remain standing for the departure of the official party and allow the retirees and their families to move to the Hall of Flags, the receiving line.